98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com presents the Mid-Columbia Today Show with Mark Bailey. Special thanks to our sponsors, Skyline Hospital and Del Carpine Automotive. Now, here's Mark Bailey.
Good morning. It is 8:05 Mid-Columbia Today. It is a Wednesday, the 12th of August, middle part of the week. Boy, it's been busy. We've got the fire going on, the grasshopper fire. We expect sometime later this morning we'll get more updates on that. They did do an announcement last night via social media. I'll use the quote here. The fire Monday night impacted homes and other structures in the northeastern portion of the fire. That means, unfortunately, to translate, that means stuff burned down. We will, and by the way, this is why I really shouldn't look at social media at all, because I'll see the comments and people, and I get why they're anxious. If you were evacuated from that area, you have every right to be. But for others out there, usually it takes a couple days before. Structure damage assessment is not the top priority of firefighting crews. That'll be done by others, and they'll go in when it's safe. Until then, a lot of it is just conjecture. So we will wait to learn what the impact of that has been out there over the course of the next little while. If you did not hear last night, a couple of key closures. Wasco County Fair and Rodeo will not be held. That decision was made last night. If you heard our show yesterday with Wasco County Commissioner Jeff Justison, you probably had the suspicion they were headed this way after the conversation we had. You know, Jeff was trying to put an optimistic face on. He's also on the fair board. But I think at that point it was already pretty close to they knew after the Monday night run. Then Ty Valley, a little later after that interview, went from level 1 back to level 2. And once you hit that, there was no way you could proceed. So they'll be developing plans as the next few hours go by, I'm sure, as far as what to do, as far as the kids, et cetera, with their 4-H and FFA stuff. That's really, to me, the most important thing to deal with. And then Mount Hood Meadows has ceased its summer operations because they have been under level 3 for a little over a week. And I think there's a reality they're going to be under that because of the nature of the terrain out there for quite a while. It's going to be a long time before they can get rolling again, and made the business decision to shut down. Then you throw in, if the news comes in, the Seattle Times reporting that Boeing's selling 3 subsidiaries, and one of them is in situ in Bingen. We've learned that. So a lot of stuff's going on around here. Here's what we're going to talk about today. Mid-Columbia Community Action Executive Director Leslie Naramore and Development and Partnerships Director Sarah Kellems is here. And then we'll talk to Amanda Holste from Wood River County Prevention. Of course, we'll have a news update at 8:30 this morning where we'll tell you a little more about all these things I just mentioned. And also the Basalt Commons. I didn't get this story done. Time just ran out on me. Received an extension from Urban Renewal in the Dalles for their project. It sounds like demolition may start in a month on that old Griffith Motors building on East 3rd in the Dalles. And sounds like they think they'll get construction started before the end of the year. But they need an extension on some of the funding because it is a complex, high-priced project. And many of the Urban Renewal Administration or Urban Renewal Board members alluded to that in voting for the extension. So a 4-month extension on that. Okay, now what am I going to do? I'm going to tell you about what this day has meant and what it means at least to some people. If I can find the sheet that I actually printed out on this, which I just realized I've buried somewhere. I put it at the bottom instead of the top. It's the first thing I need. There we go. Anyway, here's what's happened. 1867, President Andrew Johnson sparked a move to impeach him as he defied Congress by suspending Secretary of War Edwin Stanton, with whom he had clashed over Reconstruction policies. Johnson would be acquitted by the Senate. 1909, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home of the Indianapolis 500, it was opened. 1944, during World War II, Joseph P. Kennedy Jr., the eldest son of Joseph and Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy, was killed with his co-pilot when their explosives-laden Navy plane blew up over England. 1981, IBM introduced the first personal computer, the Model 5150, at a press conference in New York. And away we went. 1985, the world's worst single aircraft disaster occurred as a crippled Japan Airlines Boeing 747 on a domestic flight crashed into a mountain, killing 520 people. 4 passengers survived. 2013, James Whitey Bulger, the feared Boston mob boss who became one of the nation's most wanted fugitives, was convicted in a string of 11 killings and a dozen other gangland crimes, many of them committed while he was said to be an FBI informant. Bulger was sentenced to life in prison. He was fatally beaten at a West Virginia prison in 2018, hours after being transferred from a facility in Florida. On this day in 2017, a driver sped into a crowd of people peacefully protesting a white nationalist rally in the Virginia college town of Charlottesville, Virginia, killing 32-year-old Heather Heyer and injuring more than a dozen others. The attacker, James Alex Fields, was sentenced to life in prison on 29 federal hate crime charges, plus 419 years on state charges. And in 2022, Salman Rushdie, the author whose writing led to death threats from Iran in the 1980s, was stabbed by a man who rushed the stage as Rushdie was about to give a lecture in western New York. Our days for today, it's World Elephant Day today. Fascinating animal. It's World Calligraphy Day. It is Vinyl Record Day today. And I do know some people who prefer vinyl apparently to digital. I'm not that big an audiophile. I do have some vinyl records still around the house. They just sit in the shelf. Haven't moved in a good 3 decades and probably won't move for another X decades till I'm gone and somebody has to pack it up and deal with it. It's Truck Driver Day today. We salute all the folks who get everything to the various places. They're all the stuff we need. National Sewing Machine Day. Not sure why, but it is. It is International Youth Day today. It's National Middle Child Day today. Which my wife is a middle child. She's, 3 sisters, and she's the in the middle there. So this is her day. And it's my day because it's Baseball Fans Day. I'm not sure why they picked today in August to be Baseball Fans Day. I would have thought opening day would be Baseball Fans Day, which I still think should be a national holiday. But apparently it's Baseball Fans Day. So it says celebrate by watching a baseball game, which I did last night. We'll probably do tomorrow night, and we'll do again tonight. I think the Dodgers play tonight. Or I have to check the game. I should make sure they're not playing an afternoon game today. Well, I've got with the MLB TV stuff. I'll watch it when I get home, regardless of when they play it. And our food today, it's National Julienne Fries Day today, which it's the matchstick fries, which is what McDonald's does. McDonald's, I don't know actually I do know what they do to their French fries. But I will admit they're wonderful. I've loved them since I was a kid. A lot of places make good fries, but this is for the matchstick ones, the really thin fries. So there it is for what it's worth. Probably not a whole lot. 8:12, we'll talk Mid-Columbia Community Action right after this.
There's a reason homeowners and builders alike trust Stoic Painting.
Hi, this is James Yahtzee from Stoic Painting. We treat each home as if it were our own, using trusted products, maintaining open communication, and delivering results that stand the test of time. It's where craftsmanship meets consistency and where every project begins with pride. For durable finishes that stand up to real-world use, check us out at stoicpainting.com.
Stoic Painting, family-owned, locally trusted, built with pride. CCB number 228835.
One sip of tropical lime-flavored Mountain Dew Baja Blast will turn this into this. Your barbecue into a cabana. And your backyard into an island oasis. With a blast of tropical lime flavor, you can bring the beach vibes with you everywhere. Grab some friends and ice-cold Mountain Dew Baja Blast today. Do the Dew.
Mid-Columbia Today is a public affairs program of Bicoastal Media Columbia River, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com. Now, back to Mark Bailey.
And we are back as it is now. 8:15 in the morning. Joined in the studio by Mid-Columbia Community Action Executive Director Leslie Naramore and Development and Partnerships Director Sarah Kellems. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being with us. And you got an event coming up in October we're going to talk about. And it's called Housing Heroes. So for whoever wants to start here, I'm not sure who to start with, but what is this event? What's this going to be all about? Sarah? or Leslie, whichever one.
Well, this is our one fundraising event of the year, and this year is especially important. I think last time I was here, I talked a little bit about our shelter expansion, and so this is a big part of us being able to provide those services and expand our services is this fundraising event, and it's been going on for 4 years now, and Sarah can speak more to the history of it, but this is our single fundraising event of the year.
So, Sarah, how did you get this all started? What's this all about?
We started Housing Heroes for two purposes. The first, as a fundraiser, is to raise flexible funds to support our work. And then our second reason is to expand awareness and support within the community to understand our work and support housing heroes from our community. So each year we honor several individuals and organizations who are working hard to address issues of housing and homelessness. In the past, we've honored a range of folks from our Hood River Shelter volunteers to One Community Health's mobile medical unit team and our own staff who led the Rowena fire response last year.
I assume, have you picked this year's honorees? Or do you reveal them at the event before I try to... Okay, it's a surprise. Okay,
That's what makes it fun.
Well, I'm a journalist. I have to ask this. That's what I do. So, but so on October 18th is when this is going to take place at the Granada, and it's more than just the honoring. Also, you do some other things there as well. And it looks like this time it's going to involve showing some films.
Yes, so we're really excited to hold this year's Housing Heroes in the Dalles. It'll be our first time holding the event in the Dalles, and we have a new format this year. We're excited to bring a film night to the community in the historic Granada Theater. We will be showing one film that is called No Place to Grow Old, and
I think I've heard of that. I think we've talked about this before.
Yes, you have. It is about the experience of elders in our region who are transitioning into houselessness, and it's a sad film. The others are short films that we have created that tell true stories of homelessness from our own communities and the services that have supported people to transition back into housing.
So this is going to be on October 18th, and it's also going to have a dinner as well with it, and dessert, I see, is specifically mentioned in the flyer here. Are tickets available yet?
Tickets will go on sale in just a few weeks. They'll be available on our website at www.mccac.com, or you can reach out to us by email or phone. Contact information's on our website. And the tickets will be $50. They include entrance, the films, dinner, and dessert. And there will also be a raffle with items, experiences, and gift certificates that are provided by local businesses.
So let's get into how the money gets used. And Leslie, you mentioned, you just recently have changed kind of some things with the annex. I forget the technical name, but a little more permanent housing, if you will, there as well. And I know you're also going to activate this year full-time the pallet shelters. So I assume some of the money is going toward that.
Yeah. So typically when you fundraise, that's money that's used to kind of fill in the gaps, because while we rely almost 100% on grants, there's always something that grants don't cover. And so that's where fundraising becomes so important, to kind of pick up those pieces that the grants don't cover.
Other things, though, I'm sure will be involved in this as well.
Yeah.
As far as how this money gets used.
Yeah. So like I did mention, we're expanding the Hood River Shelter to be year-round, and so obviously that's going to be a lot more expensive.
I'm trying to remember if you mentioned that on this show or not. We talked about the Dalles portions a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So this winter, when we open the Hood River Shelter, it's going to stay open.
Wow.
Yeah.
What led to that move? What made you decide that? I mean, I think I probably know why, but I'll let you tell people.
Well, because we've seen an increased need. And this last year, we had the eldest population we'd ever had at the Hood River Shelter, and also the most medically fragile. And when people come into shelter, and it's so short term, because in the past, the Hood River Shelter has only been open for about 4 months per year. it takes more time than that to get someone stable. You need time to establish that relationship, build trust, and then figure out what's your next move. And you just can't do that in 4 months. We do have some successes that happen that we're very proud of, but if we're able to have more time to be able to stabilize, build trust, and then move people into permanent housing, we're going to have a lot better outcomes.
Will the site remain? I mean, Sarah, before you joined MCCAC, obviously you were deeply involved in this, and you had to move around a lot. That's what I remember up until you've got the spot now on Cascade, which before it becomes Oak Street. Is it going to stay there?
We will be at our current site on Oak Street for the coming year, and we're working on long-range planning for our Hood River Shelter program.
So we say long range, looking down the road, because you use basically pallet shelters right now down there. Is the thought at some point in Hood River having maybe not quite an annex facility, but something a little more permanent than pallet shelters?
Well, I think that's the dream, right?
Yeah, okay, well, that's why I said long term. I didn't say tomorrow.
But it depends on many things.
Yeah.
Right now, our plan is to continue with the pallet shelters because that's what we have.
Right, sure.
And we also want to build a small office so that we could have kind of Gloria Center 2.0. So we could have community partners on site move our office there. So it's all one facility.
Well, I would think also it'd make it easier. You talk about trying to provide services to these people, and like the advantage of the Gloria Center is with the shelter is there that you're getting back going again, that everything's there.
Right. Yeah.
At Hood River, I imagine the transportation becomes an issue with some of this.
It is, but also we are able to we have an RV there that functions as our office, so our staff are able to provide services on site, not in an ideal location.
RVs, not that RVs can't be very useful, but your space would be limited, I would think.
Very limited. So that's kind of the long-term plan, is to be able to purchase property for a permanent home for the shelter and create a small office so that everything can be in one location.
But again, that's the dream at this point. I mean, so basically, I was going to get into with Hood River and the cost of land, which is part of the housing problem. I would think it would be difficult once you have a spot to try to find another spot, just because the costs have become prohibitive to try to move.
Yeah. So we're working with a realtor right now. And next month I'll be able to hopefully make an official announcement, but we are going to be kicking off a capital campaign soon. We do have some funding that we've been able to secure for this project. But we're not quite ready to make an official announcement, but soon we will be.
So next month I'll be delving into that
forget.
On the show. Yes, you'll remind me. I have a feeling. So, but getting back again, Housing Heroes, your tickets aren't on sale yet, are they?
Not quite yet. Within the next few weeks, tickets will be on sale. And we'd also like to mention our sponsors for this year's event.
Go ahead.
Can we do that?
Yeah, sure.
So we're really grateful to the local businesses who join us in sponsoring Housing Heroes. This year's event sponsors include Pacific Source, Meadow Outdoor Advertising, Hampton Inn and Suites here in Hood River, Rivermark Community Credit Union in the Dalles, Dennis Morgan with Copper West Real Estate, and Anna Cavallari at Jock Sharp Attorneys at Law. We are still open to additional sponsorships. So if anyone's interested, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to have you join us in this event.
It is still summer. We know this just looking out the window. Cooling supplies, how's that going?
The drive went really well. We had so many donations this year that we were able to assemble the most kits that we ever have. And so we were able to distribute those to community partners as well. And then they're available for pickup at our offices here in Hood River or in the Dalles. And we also have right now, because of all of the smoke, we have N95 masks available as well.
I'm interested to know, when we have a fire situation like this, I mean, this is more a rural area, but we've gone through Rowena, obviously, and Burdoyne. when you have a fire, especially the smoke condition like this, and we talk about helping people who don't have shelter. When we have a fire condition like this, and I know there are shelters, obviously the Red Cross does, etc., but for Mid-Columbia Community Action, is there a change in demand for the services that you see when we have a situation like we're dealing with right now?
So not necessarily during the fire, but in the aftermath. So for example, with the Rowena fire, we activated our shelter after the fire when the Red Cross had to close their shelter because all of the hotels were booked that weekend. So we did open the pallet shelters at the Gloria Center for that. And then our team has been working with all of those people since then. So it's not necessarily while the event is happening, but usually in the aftermath, we do see an uptick.
So if someone I imagine you could still use some cooling supplies. I'm sure,
absolutely.
I'm sure the demand has not stopped. If someone would like to donate cooling supplies, how do they do that?
They're welcome to drop supplies by either of our offices. So in Hood River, we're located at 606 State Street, and in the Dalles at the Gloria Center at 2505 West 7th. And supplies that we welcome for donations include shelf-stable, individually wrapped snacks like granola bars or jerky, electrolyte packets, sunscreen, chapstick, and bottled water.
All right. So again, those are things, and you put them together. And you don't just distribute them, if I remember right, through Mid-Columbia Community Action. You've been giving them to other partners as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so they're available, like in Chihuahua, who does a lot of outreach along the river with our native community. They have them available. We have some available through the bus drivers. So, yeah, there are other places that you can get them as well.
So, again, watch for the Housing Heroes event, October 18th, 5 day at the Granada Theater in the Dalles, Mid-Columbia Community Action's website, mccac.com, I believe. I got that. I can remember if it was a com or an org or a whatever it might be. But you can watch for that, and it sounds like in a few weeks tickets will be available, and you can take part in that if you so desire out there. Leslie, Sarah, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
It is now 8:27 in the morning on Mid-Columbia Today. We are going to come back and take a look at what's going on in the news. There's a lot of it right after this.
Whether you're mowing, grading, or just taking care of your property, you need the proven reliability of Kubota compact tractors to help you get it all done right. Stop by today. Right now, bring home the Kubota BX23S Series for 0% financing or save up to $4,500. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimer.
Sea Shepherds, 440 Riverside Drive, Hood River, your Kubota dealer.
With a new Toyota from Toyota's National Sales Event, you can turn your end-of-summer scaries into end-of-summer woes. Pack a picnic into a 4Runner and hit up a stunning mountain vista.
Whoa!
Haul a bouncy castle in a Tundra.
Whoa! I'm king of the castle!
Or take a BZ to an amusement park with friends. Keep your woes going this summer in a new Toyota.
Event ends August 31st. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
Coffee for Mid-Columbia Today guests is provided by Hood River Coffee Roasters, the gorgeous local coffee roasters, on Tucker Road on the Heights in Hood River.
8:30 in the morning. We'll start the news with something we just got from ODOT. I think you know where I'm headed to here. Highway 35 is closed again between Hood River and the junction with Highway 26 east of Government Camp, so fire crews can remove hazardous trees resulting from the ongoing grasshopper fire. So basically, we're in a pattern now where it's been closed in the daytime, they open it back up in the evening, they close it again in the morning. You know, I would think it'd be easier at this point just to say, you know, here's the hours it's going to be open, because we're removing hazardous trees, which I'm sure takes a long time in that area with this, what they're doing. It's dangerous work. But yeah, this is like the third day in a row we tell people it's open in the morning, and then by Mid-Columbia Today airs, when you're live, and if you're listening on the podcast, it might reopen by now. I have no idea in the future. But they closed it again. So be aware on that. Here's what's in the news. Boeing is selling 3 subsidiaries to California-based Archer Aviation, and one of them is going to be In Situ, based in Bingen. The Seattle Times reports the deal also includes Boeing's autonomous flying taxi company Wisk and SkyGrid, which develops air traffic management technology. In situ is part of Boeing's defense business. It has operations in the U.S., Australia, the U.K., and the UAE. The company has built more than 3,500 unmanned aircraft systems and generates about $200 million in annual revenue. It's not yet clear what the deal will mean for in situ's Bingen employees. Boeing says it has worked with Archer to ensure a seamless transition for workers. The companies expect the deal to close by the end of this year. The sale comes as Boeing works to streamline its operations and focus on its core aerospace businesses. After a lengthy discussion, the Hood River City Council approved a 5-year intergovernmental agreement for animal control services with Hood River County. Councilors spent considerable time talking about whether quality of shelter services the county can provide will be adequate if Hood River Adopt a Dog cannot overcome its current fiscal issues with the exhaustion of the Hukari Fund that has helped pay for the shelter's operation. Councilor Doug Stepina said he was comfortable with the opt-out clauses built into the agreement should the city determine shelter services are inadequate. The Wasco County Sheriff's Office Tuesday night added Badger Creek and Shady Brook Road to the areas under Level 3 Go Now evacuations due to the Grasshopper Fire. That came after Ty Valley was moved back up to Level 2 Get Set evacuation notice earlier in the day, while Level 1 Be Ready advisories now in place for Conroy Road, White River Falls, Highline Ditch, Shearer's Bridge, and the Lower Deschutes Wildlife Area. Meanwhile, officials with the Grasshopper Fire send a late-night social media post that the fire, quote, impacted homes and other structures in the northeast portion of the fire during its Monday night run. The statement went on to say firefighters remain actively engaged in point protection and structure defense. Structural assessments are ongoing, and additional information will be shared as it is confirmed. And we'll note that we had not received any sort of morning update on the Grasshopper Fire to this point. It had grown to more than 77,000 acres going into last night. Meanwhile, the Wasco County Fair Board decided Tuesday night to cancel the fair and rodeo due to active fire danger and severe smoke from the fire. In a statement posted on social media after their meeting, the board said public safety is their top priority. The statement added they will meet soon to explore possibilities for hosting specific fair events at a later date. And Mount Hood Meadows is ending its summer operations early due to the fire and related closures. The resort says wildfire smoke has affected the area since late July. Meadows has also been under a Level 3 or Go Now evacuation order since last week. A U.S. Forest Service closure remains in effect across much of the east side of the Mount Hood National Forest, including the resort, and Highway 35 has seen intermittent closures, including what we just mentioned is closed again as of this morning. Meadows says it can't reopen until those restrictions are lifted, but each closure is handled separately, and there is no clear timeline for when they may end. Current temperatures in the area at this time, we can tell you that in Stevenson it's 62, the Dalles 68, Hood River 66, and it is 8:34 in the morning.
Hey, it's Zach from Del Carpine Automotive. You know those tall Sprinter vans that look like they could secretly double as apartments? Yeah, we work on those, and we know them really well. Whether it's your adventure rig, work van, or mystery mobile full of camping gear and snacks from 2022, we've got you covered. We're now just 10 minutes up the hill in our great new location in Hood River. Come see us. From Mercedes and Ford, big rigs to Sprinters, no jobs too big or small. At Del Carpine, we work on them all. Family owned and locally trusted.
Mid-Columbia Today is a public affairs program of Bicoastal Media Columbia River, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com. Now, back to Mark Bailey.
And it is now 8:36 in the morning on Mid-Columbia Today. We now have with us on the telephone from Hood River County Prevention, Amanda Holste. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, Mark.
And Amanda, first of all, we probably should give people a little chain here because Hood River County Prevention used to be its own department, and that changed here a few months ago. You're now with the health department, aren't you?
That is correct. And to my understanding, it's not uncommon for most counties to have prevention fall under the health department. But yes, we're at 1109 June Street right now.
So what is Hood River County Prevention for those who aren't familiar? What is this function?
Yeah, so Hood River County Prevention is funded by a variety of different entities, including the state. But our mission at Hood River County Prevention, we are working to create stronger, healthier communities through prevention education, and support. We connect individuals and families with resources that promote lifelong healing and well-being. So prevention, in essence, is working really well when a community is not struggling with substance misuse or higher suicide rates among youth. So often we don't realize that prevention is working when things are not happening.
So when we say prevention here, what do you tend to focus on? I think there has been a tendency where, at least in prior times, where there was a lot of focus on youth. Has that changed?
It hasn't changed. It is a huge part of our focus, but not in its entirety. We focus on, we prevent youth substance use, including vaping and tobacco use. We promote the prevention of alcohol and other drug misuse. We promote mental wellness and suicide prevention efforts. We connect people with resources and services. And ultimately, we help individuals have a healthy relationship with even gambling. That's part of our funding as well. Prevention is a...
Go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I would assume gambling, given the higher profile it seems to have now, is that a relatively recent addition to what you do?
It is, Mark, but it's also when people think about the relevance of teaching how to have a healthy relationship with gambling and not fall into any kind of addiction, we want to recognize that it is the one behavioral addiction with the highest suicide risk. So it has high implications of a youth's mental health. And we also know that gambling impacts a youth's brain entirely differently than it impacts an adult, fully developed brain. And so when we work with schools and community members, this is part of our prevention services.
So when you work with people on, when you're talking going out with prevention, I know probably the outreach depends on the audience you're talking to, but what do you tend to emphasize with people when you're talking about what this department does?
Yeah, prevention has changed over the course of, I think, the last 3 or 4 decades. But currently, I feel like there is this huge emphasis on protective factors. So when we go into schools or parent groups, we're always wanting to bring education around substance misuse and addiction and what that looks like and what does the market look like right now? What are the drugs that our kids are getting their hands on? We talk a lot about brain development, even all the way down to the elementary school age, and so that young people understand the importance of the negative impact substance misuse or substance experimentation even could have upon a developing brain. But then we also want to talk about protective factors, the things that help youth and young adults, thrive in community. So protective factors can be things like having at least one trusted adult in your life, feeling connected at school, at home, or in the community, experiencing positive friendships, participating in things like clubs or sports or hobbies, having healthy coping skills, and a hope for the future and knowing where to get help. So just as much about education, we are focusing on these protective factors and hopefully being able to create environments and experiences for youth and families to have those.
So one of the things that you discuss here is about protective factors. What are those?
Yeah, protective factors are just positive relationships, positive experiences, opportunities that help young people become healthier and more resilient as adults. And one of the people, we just came back from our 2026 Prevention Summit in Eagle Crest, and one of the speakers was Dr. Crystal Collier, and she's quoted as saying adverse childhood experiences, which we're all pretty familiar with, right? Since 1998, they increase a person's risk for substance use and other health problems. We know this, and statistics have proven this across the board. But what she brings out in her research, that the presence of PACEs, which is positive childhood experiences, actually can negate the harms and the risks that ACEs has produced in a young person's life.
So how do you, that's frankly sounds like, you balance the good with the bad sort of thing. So how do you how does someone apply that necessarily? I mean, because some people tend to see the glass half empty, some people tend to see the glass half full.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we worked with Hood River County School District this summer with summer school, and in the process of educating around drug misuse and addiction, we had the students, talk about the individuals in their lives, the activities in their lives that they can do that would promote mental health. And so the idea of building protective factors is helping young people feel connected, valued, and supported. And that's why we offer things like the health media clubs at the middle school and high schools for this extracurricular activity for youth to be involved in. It's why we do classroom prevention education with our health teachers. It's why we provide after-school prevention programs at the elementary school age. It's why we offer parent cafes and youth leadership opportunities, including like naloxone training and working with retailers about checking for IDs, things like that. Like all of those things are what prevention actively participates in. And the hope is to build confidence and develop healthy relationships and strengthen a child or youth's sense of belonging.
You also obviously talk with parents here quite a bit, and it would seem to me the most important thing that can happen as far as parents is just be involved.
Absolutely. Yeah, our message to parents is one of the strongest protective factors is not a program. It's a caring adult. And it doesn't have to be, I'm an empty nester, and I don't have young people in my life right now that are mine, but I have a ton of young people in my life that are in the community that I have the opportunity to influence, and I could be a caring adult to those youth. And so parents and grandparents and teachers and coaches and neighbors and mentors and faith leaders all make a difference. And, it's asking simple conversations with that youth that's in your life of how are you doing? What's the best part of your day today? Asking them questions that fine doesn't actually answer. And, what's been hard lately? What are you struggling with right now? And that's just taking a vested interest in our youth.
One of the things the Hood River County Prevention does do with the Hood River County Health Department is offer help for those who are trying to get off of tobacco in some form. I think we tend to concentrate on cigarettes, but obviously there are other forms as well. And those services remain available.
Yes, correct. We have continued to provide both for youth and adults tobacco and nicotine cessation services. This could be one-on-one support with a trained tobacco treatment specialist, or it could be creating a personalized quit plan. We also have group sessions. We'll be starting one up at Mount Hood Meadows this next month for their staffing. We also have monthly virtual cessation collective. That is the third Thursday of every month. Our tobacco treatment specialist does a virtual online call of just providing support and ongoing community for people that are working to get off of or cut back from their nicotine use. And then we also offer free nicotine replacement therapy for eligible participants. And bilingual services in addition to that. So, if you're looking to quit or cut back, we want to provide those services for you.
If someone's interested in trying to quit tobacco or nicotine, is it just as simple as calling the Hood River County Health Department?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a phone tree that you'll reach, and then you would just connect with George Thomas right now is doing our adult services, and Raul Marquez is offering youth services. And they're both 100% confidential, 100% free, and available.
Something that is being launched through some funding that the Hood River County has received, it is called the Gorge Wellness Alliance. What is that?
Yeah, so actually the funding is from Roundhouse Foundation, and we have been, as suicide prevention funding has decreased from a government stance, we've just been trying to be really creative in finding resources for our community in this area of mental health. And so Roundhouse Foundation has provided us with a small grant for this coming year to really reestablish the Gorge Wellness Alliance. And that is a regional coalition that will bring together schools and healthcare providers, community organizations, and local leaders from across the Columbia Gorge. The Alliance will focus on strengthening protective factors, promoting mental wellness, reducing stigma, increasing awareness of available resources, and creating a coordinated regional approach to suicide prevention. So we're super excited about that, and that's going to support our work in the schools where we partner with health teachers in providing our suicide prevention curriculum, question, respond, and persuade, our QPR trainings, and those are both in the school and in the community.
Now, something you just mentioned, the Gorge Wellness Alliance, I seem to recall this existing before,
yes.
Yes. Am I right?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. It was kind of a mystery when I got hired of I see a website, but I don't know that anybody is that person today. And apparently the funding had ceased for that, and then the group had kind of just ceased existing. So again, one of our goals is to reestablish that coalition, because for a lot of this bigger funding that we want to bring into our community, a requirement of those grant funds is that we have an existing coalition that is functioning already. So Roundhouse is helping us just to kind of lay the foundation for hopefully more grant opportunities in the future.
You mentioned, and forgive me if I don't get this quite right, but question and there was another word in persuade. Well,
yeah.
What do we mean by that? I take it that's a technique here.
Yeah, the question, persuade, refer is an evidence-based program that is nationally recognized. Our schools have committed to provide that for their mental health requirements for academics. And when we teach that in the schools, one thing I learned, we did it this last spring with Lisa Rust out at HRV, and we just had a great response from the student body. And it is really just preparing individuals to be prepared for if and when they encounter an individual with a mental health issue or that is just struggling with depression or anxiety, that they know how to respond and how to identify if someone is potentially suicidal, and then how to respond to that. And then, of course, how to link them or refer them to the resources. That's where the QPR piece comes from. One thing I just want to mention, Mark, when we did this at the high school this last spring, I think we spoke at 6 classes. We did a survey at the end of class, because prevention is always about evaluation. Are the efforts that we're doing working? And in the evaluation, 100% of the students who participated said that they would highly recommend for their peers to go through this program. So to us, that's very encouraging that the content and the time being spent going through the content is making a difference in those kids' lives.
We need to run here, but you're going to be at a couple of events here, I believe, in the Hood River County area over the course of the next week or so.
Yeah, we are. You can catch us at a couple. We've been at a few already this summer, but currently right now we are scheduled August 20th to be at the Mercado del Valle at Odell's Farmers Market, and also we'll be at the Hood River County School District Ready, Set, Learn, as well as the wellness fair for the Hood River County School District staff and employees. So you'll see us around. Come visit us if you see us tabling.
And that Ready, Set, Learn event we'll notice tomorrow at 5 o'clock out of Hood River Valley High School, 5 to 6:30. For all families, as school is closer than the students want to admit is coming, and probably the teachers as well. Amanda Holste, Hood River County Prevention with us. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much, Mark. Have a great day.
Have a good day. It's 8:52 in the morning on MCT. We will come back and begin to wrap things up for you after this.
Jan on the street. Hi, it's Jan from Toyota. Summer's not over at the national sales event, so I'm taking to the streets to see how people are keeping summer fun going with a new Toyota. Excuse me, sir. How are you making summer last longer with your Toyota?
Dropping my BZ to the park to play kickball with friends. Kickball is life.
Love the passion. Jan, on the street.
Event ends August 31st. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
Hi, this is Nicole with McCoy Holliston Insurance, powered by Your Policy. We're honored to be recognized the best insurance agency in the Gorge 5 years running. This reflects the trust, loyalty, and long-term relationships we've built with our clients for nearly 80 years. At McCoy Holliston, we take pride in offering dependable guidance and personal service. Whether you need protection for your home, car, business, farm, or life, your trust means everything to us. Call us at McCoy Holliston Insurance, where relationships and service still come first.
Coffee for Mid-Columbia Today guests is provided by Hood River Coffee Roasters, the Gorge's local coffee roasters, on Tucker Road on the Heights in Hood River.
8:54 in the morning. There are some things going on in the area. We still have a couple fairs going on. Skamania County Fair and Timber Carnivals getting underway today at the Skamania County Fairgrounds in Stevenson. And that'll continue through Saturday. You can get all the details at SkamaniaFair.com. Well, starting tomorrow through Sunday up in Goldendale, the Klickitat County Fair and Rodeo at the Klickitat County Fairgrounds in Goldendale. We're going to have the Fair Queen on the show, by the way, tomorrow, so we'll talk to her. Some other things going on. I just mentioned a moment ago. Ready, Set, Learn. Hood River County School District Back to School Resource Fair, 5 to 6:30 tomorrow evening at Hood River Valley High School. Families can access essential school information and community resources in one location. A poetry reading tomorrow evening with Stuart Watson, author of Death is the Dismount. And that'll be at 6 o'clock Thursday evening at the Hood River Library Reading Room. Teen Summerween Horror Movie Night, 6 o'clock in the evening tomorrow evening at the Stevenson Community Library. A PG-13 horror movie will be shown. Families in the Park free concerts. They should be able to get this kicked off tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock at Jackson Park in Hood River. Petty Fever, presented by the Hood River Lions Club and the Gorge Community Foundation. We should remind you again that Dance Hall Days, because of the smoke conditions in the Hood River area on Thursday of last week, got postponed. They're going to run the series this year through the first Thursday of September. Dance Hall Days will perform on September 3rd at Jackson Park. Also, Pacific Crest Trail Days are coming to Cascade Locks Friday and Saturday. It's an outdoor gear expo and marketplace. Over 100 exhibiting sponsors. Free daily admission. Full information, go to pctdays.com. One Community Health going to have their 40th anniversary block party on Saturday from 3 to 7 on 849 Pacific Avenue in Hood River. Food, family activities, local artists and vendors, live entertainment, and more. So just some of the things going on in our area. Go to gorgeradio.com and check out our events page. There's more listed there. 8:56 in the morning. We'll come back and finish things out after this.
Did you know Skyline Health in White Salmon has its very own sports medicine doc superstar? That's right. Dr. Ryan Petering trained at OHSU, cared for professional Nike athletes, and even spent more than 15 years teaching other doctors how it's done. From sporting injuries to arthritis, he's here to help you move better, feel stronger, and keep doing the things you love. Want to live life to its fullest? Step right up and visit myskylinehealth.org. Skyline Health, world-class care right here at home.
Tune in weekday mornings at 8:05 and keep up with community events and issues with the Mid-Columbia Today Show on Mid-Columbia's news leaders, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR. Special thanks to our sponsors, Skyline Hospital and Del Carpine Automotive.
I was just making one more check on the grasshopper fire here that I can make on my iPad, which isn't a whole lot, but no new update for you. So they'll let you their big daily update probably sometime in the latter part of the morning. And we'll try to get on the new news for you. In fact, we won't just try, we'll get it on for you. Whichever station you might listen to in the various bi-coastal media stations that have noon news on, which is 4 of them. You can't get away from me, I don't think, in this area. My voice apparently surrounds you. Wow, that's an ego and a half right there to make that statement. I don't want to have. I wish I hadn't gone there. Tomorrow, Klickitat County Fair Queen Jaylee is going to join us, and so will the CEO of Providence Hood River, by the way. So that is coming up tomorrow. Friday, Columbia Gorge Discovery Center. Scheduled to talk. We're trying to get something else booked on there as well. Haven't heard it back yet, but That's what's coming up the rest of the week, and then I'm going to leave again for a week, let Marty Dane do this. But I am about done for today. For Cameron Eisenberg producing, I'm Mark Bailey. Talk to you again on Thursday.
The Mid-Columbia Today Show is a public affairs presentation of Bicoastal Media Columbia River. The views expressed on the program are not necessarily those of the station, parent company, or of the sponsors. We welcome your suggestions for future shows. Call us at 541-386-1511. Listen to Mid-Columbia Today where you want. Follow or subscribe to Mid-Columbia Today wherever you download your podcast to get the show delivered every day to your mobile device.